Welcome back. 20 days from the midterms and border security has become a hugely important issue for voters heading into November. And now President Biden's hand-picked Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Chris Magnus is being slammed by colleagues for skipping meetings and even falling asleep during meetings while the nation experiences the worst crisis we've ever seen at the southern border. For more, let's welcome back someone who's held that exact same position under President Trump, Mark Morgan. Back with us. Mark, good to see you.
You too, Rob. Thanks for having me.
Mark, for whatever reason, I don't imagine you falling asleep during meetings, but I'm wondering if this report about Chris Magnus being totally disinterested in what's going on, did that surprise you?
Yeah, no, not at all, Rob. Look, I've been very consistent on this from day one, that this man is completely unqualified for this position. And I think it clearly shows that his selection was based on identity politics and this administration's further of their woke agenda. Look, the truth is that rather that they focused on that rather than experience-based qualifications. The fact are, look, he was a small-town cop most of his career. As chief, he oversaw less than 800 sworn officers, and he never held a federal position in his entire career. Now, look, I'm not making light of that. Local law enforcement obviously is essential for this country. I started my career out as a local deputy sheriff and local cop. Right. But the issue is that does not make him qualified to run CBP, which is the largest federal law enforcement in the United States with 60,000 employees and a vast, complex global mission. Look, I'll give you a quick example. The former chief of the Border Patrol, Rodney Scott, was briefing him time and time again on the basic statutory authorities that allows CBP to do their mission. And one of them is called Title VIII. It's a foundational statutory authority. And after many briefings, he pulled Rodney aside. He said, now, tell me about this Title VIII thing again. I mean, that would be like a chief of police asking his detective bureau, tell me about this Miranda rights thingy again. I don't quite understand it. It's just unconscionable.
Yeah, no qualifications to do this, to your point. Zero qualifications. He barely made it through his Senate confirmation. So you're saying that he was basically handpicked by the Biden administration to be a rubber stamp on their open border policies?
That's absolutely correct. Look, if you take a look at his knowledge and, again, his experience, during his time as a cop, and especially a chief, Rob, he acted more as a social activist than the chief of police. And as chief, one of the qualifications that I think he checked off of this administration is he was actively going against President Trump. He was actively pushing back about what we were doing to secure the borders. Right. As chief, I'll give you an example. He refused to allow his men and women of his department to work with CBP to track down illegal alien fugitives. During the riots in 2020, he actively tweeted out chastising what we were doing to help secure the federal courthouse in Portland, Oregon. And he parroted Nancy Pelosi's disgusting comments, calling them horrible names when he was there as chief.
Mark, tight on time. I want to squeeze two more in if we can. What do you make of the claims? He responded to these claims that he falls asleep during meetings. He said that, yes, I occasionally snooze. That was his word. But he said it's because I suffer from multiple sclerosis. Do you buy that? And if he's had this disease for 15 years, if that's the case, is he even qualified for this job? It's the John Fetterman argument in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Rob. Look, this is absolutely unbelievable that he's using a disease that he's had for 15 years, that he hasn't been able to get his medications right. It just doesn't pass the straight face test, right? Yeah. And I think it's important that we do question now his ability to do his job. That's fair. I mean, his job is too important. Look, I understand the disease he has, but he's got to be able to do the job. Part of that is staying awake. And look, real quick, I know that there's an active Border Patrol agent right now that this individual was infuriated that he used the disease. And why? Because this Border Patrol agent has the same disease. And this individual said, you know what? I've never fallen asleep in my meeting, and I've always been able to do my job.
I can't imagine that happening with you. All right, Mark, final question. Randall's Island, New York. This is New York City in the East River. Massive luxury tent cities have been put up to house migrants. They've got Xboxes, culturally appropriate cuisine, free laundry service, phones, popcorn machines, coffee lounges. Why isn't this money, we're talking about millions of dollars, being spent to house the thousands of homeless people that are aimlessly wandering the streets in New York City every single day and every single night?
Yeah, Rob, look, this is just another issue of politics. What I would say is, why isn't the money being spent to secure our borders? Look, DHS, the federal government, is doing something very similar since day one, under this administration on the southwest border. They don't have all those amenities, but I can tell you the taxpayer is spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars setting up similar facilities to facilitate their open border policies, rather than taking that money to secure the border and save American lives.
I mean, I think the free laundry service is a little over the top. I think a lot of people right now would love to have free laundry service and have their laundry washed, dried, and then folded. Sounds pretty good to me. All right, Mark Morgan, we'll do it again soon. Thanks so much for coming back on. Good to see you.
You bet. Thanks, Rob.